Hello, everyone. How are you today? I'm Rachel Tessman from stampyourartout.com, and I'm here to bring you a live paper crafting class. I've been scrambling at the last minute, though, so hang on a minute. I have to grab my paper. I looked at the time, and I was like, oh, shoot, it's 11:01. So, yeah, sorry I'm late. Let me just cut this really quick. This is my guide. Oh, here we go. Here's the date. It's Wednesday, October 12th at 11 a.m. Central Time as I'm broadcasting to you live. And I am going to bring you a fun class because we've got some cards. Sorry, just taping something up here. We've got some fun cards that I'm making with the gnome stuff. So, you know the trend. The trend is out there. Everybody's playing around with gnomes and decorating with gnomes and crafting with gnomes. They're everywhere, and they're so cute and so fun. So we're going to take these fun little creatures and make some cards. Stampin' Up! Has gotten on board with them too. We have a bundle, which means we've got a stamp set and coordinating dies or punch or whatever. We've got some dies with this one. We've also got a whole suite. So there's designer paper with little gnomes in it and mushroom houses, and they're just adorable. So yes, so we've gotten on trend. I'm going to show you those products first, and then I'm going to bring you over to my computer, which will show you a PDF that you can download later on, which will guide you through making the cards that I'm going to share with you today. So how is everybody? Let me click on my comments so I can see everybody chiming in. Hello, there's Jean and Jeannie and Loretta. Hi, you guys. It looks like it's working on Facebook because I'm seeing a bunch of comments from Facebook rolling in. Hopefully it's working from YouTube there. Oh, there we go. Hi, Polly. Hi, Charlotte. Awesome. Okay, we're doing great. And Marnie in Andover, she's really close to me. So we've got some products that I'm going to bring you down to the desktop for so you can see them. Let me zoom out a bit here. You don't see what I'm doing in the background. We're just gonna like be frazzled today because we started off not being organized. Yay for me. All right, here we go. So this is the Kindest Gnome bundle. And actually I kind of lied in the description. We're not using this stamp set at all in the cards, but you could. So let's say you don't have the designer paper, you can stamp, color, and die cut the gnomes. The only reason that we're using the designer paper is that there's already pre-cut or pre-colored in gnomes that I'm going to grab from it. So yeah, so you can use either or. And we've got a lot of sirens going off in our neighborhood. I don't know if you can hear them, but anyways, if you can, just ignore them as we go. Oh, also, yes, say hello to Trisha and Lisa Marshall. Trisha Josephs is back. She was gone last week. Welcome back, Trisha. She's my moderator on YouTube, and she'll be here to answer questions during the live as we go, because as it is, I can't go back into live comments and respond to them. So she's helping me out on that end. And then because it's just so fun to get questions answered in both Facebook and YouTube at the same time, we have Lisa Marshall, who is back over to Facebook today, and she's checking in with us and making sure that she can answer questions as we go too. So big thank you to both of them for being moderators. We have some fun little images, some great sentiments in here, and then you can see we've got these frame dies that can die cut the actual images out for us. I'm going to grab that one because I think that's the one that we're using today. You can even assemble some more detailed gnomes. We've got a nose and a beard and a couple of extra noses or something. I'm not sure what those are. You can do all kinds of things with these. Wouldn't that be fun? You can die cut extra noses and make them stand out. You could put them up on dimensionals. We've got some pants here and like stems for the mushrooms. I did turn the mushrooms into some little gumdrops on one of the cards. Not the actual dies, but I did stamp them from another set because we've got another set now. Oh, let me show you the paper. So here's the paper. You can see mushrooms, snowflakes, mushrooms and gnomes, and more snowflakes. Then we've got the cute little critters from the forest, and we've got some trees. We've got the gnomes sitting with the creatures from the forest next to trees. And then we've got the fun mushroom houses, the scenery, mountains and some trees. And then we've got the gnomes. And this piece here is what we're die cutting from. So these actually line up just like, oh, I have to mention this too. So these can be die cut too, because we have this huge mushroom in here. So you can die cut all of those mushrooms. You can also die cut these guys here. So these will line up right with your already colored in gnomes. Awesome. Okay, we're keeping that. We're moving this off to the side. Now let me show you the other stamp set that has some mushrooms. Okay, so that's this one here, and this is the Ringed with Nature, and I'm going to show you the Ringed with Nature bundle. So this bundle comes with dies, the tree rings dies. That one's just stuck there. There we go. The tree rings dies. So you can see even more mushrooms here, and I point that out because you can do it like this, or these guys can become acorns, which I did for the first card, again with stamp images, not with the dies. But look at all the fun detailed branches with leaves. And this is a unique one because it goes with the third part of the bundle. So here we go. The Tree Rings Hybrid Embossing Folder. So this embossing folder, along with the Tree Rings dies, combined together, create some fun magic stuff, which is what I'm going to show you in this card. So here's the Ringed with Nature stamp set. That's the acorn top, the mushroom or acorn bottoms, and then the stems, and we're going to be using some of the fun floral imagery. I do have another bundle that I'm going to share with you, but let's bring out the information sheet that, again, you can download. Let's grab that really quick here. Oh, I forgot to connect my computer. See, seriously, and I was up early today. No, I wasn't. I actually overslept. All right, let's connect that because we got to bring that into. There we go. All right, here we go. All right, so we have the Peking Tree Gnomes cards, and I say cards because I've got a lot of them to show you. We've got our measurements, which are super simple, just the base cardstock, the inside layer, the scrap from the designer paper so you can die cut the gnome, or again, you can stamp on regular paper, die cut it that way instead of taking it from the designer paper. And then we've got some other cardstock optional just for scraps for accenting the images. Very simple measurements. You can adapt this to the A4 size metric measurements and stuff like that. Supplies, it looks like a lot, but I promise you that there's a bunch of them, like right after the dimensionals here. All of these down, oops, oh, we don't want to do that. We want to go back to you can see behind the scenes right now. Hang on, there we go. So all of these up through the dimensionals, there we go, are the extra supplies for making the other cards that I'm going to share with you. So the ones before the blued out section are just what we need for this card. And again, don't be overwhelmed if you're a beginner, because a lot of these things you accumulate over time. Adhesives, tools, inks, that sort of thing. So, all right, we're going to click away from that. You can even see peeks of the extra cards down here that I'm going to share with you. You do not need to do a screenshot of this because, again, you can download this off of my website. My website blog post connected to this video will go live in about an hour. I got to click here. There we go. These are things that I normally do before the live starts. Oh my goodness sakes. Yeah, you'll be able to download this, and the link is already listed in the description of the video, at least on YouTube it is, and it will be on Facebook, but don't click on it yet because at 12:15 p.m. Central Time is when you're going to be able to access this. You'll also be able to see photos, close-up photos of all the cards. You'll be able to see this video again. It's going to be embedded into that blog post. The supply list will be like with imagery instead of just words. It's good. You'll want to come back for that. Okay, so let's go to the desktop again. And let's get started. We've got our cardstock base, our cardstock piece, and we're going to make the base out of it. This is our 8.5 by 11 cardstock soft suede. We're going to cut it in half in this direction. So I'm just lifting up the arm of the trimmer, bringing it to the 5.5 inch mark because that is half of 11 inches. I'm bringing the arm thing down again, and I'm going to push my blade up to slice. Okay, this is my cutting blade. This is my scoring blade. I love the comment that was shared last week. I'm going to pull it up here. Who mentioned that? Hold on. I have to go close here. Oh, Janie Westcott. Janie, I loved your thoughts. She says that instead of marking her scoring blade, she puts like a bright polish, like an orangey bright nail polish onto her cutting blade. And it's kind of like a warning. Do not cut with this if you don't want to. This is the cutter. This is the score. So she marks her cutting blade instead of her scoring blade. But you would have to use it. You'd have to mark it with like a nail polish or something. Okay, 4 1/4 inches. That's half of 8 1/2. And now we're going to score right down the middle. And now we have our card base piece. I'm just going to tuck that under here. Move this aside. And we've already cut, or I have, my inside layer. And this inside layer measures just 1/4 inch smaller in both directions. So instead of 4 1/4, it's 4 inches to here. And instead of 5 1/2, it's 5 1/4 inches to here. So that's going to be my inside layer. And when I place it inside, it's going to have 1/8 of an inch all the way around. All right? Math, I love it. So let's prepare our base. So what we want to do is we want to make a little peeking gnome base. You can see that we've got embossing on here, but we've also got a die cut section. And there's our fun little peeking gnome, which you'll see on the inside of the card when it's open. So let's go ahead and bring in the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine and our hybrid stuff here. So we need the embossing folder and we need these dies here. Now this one will die cut around, and I've shared this one in the past. So if you haven't seen what this one does, it's pretty cool. This one will, let's see here, goes on this way. This one will die cut all of these tree rings separately and get the whole outside image. So if you wanted to have like embossed die cut tree rings. But these will go on the inside, so they'll cut a little further in. You can see I really love this one. Loved this one up. Oh yeah, I have to go over here. So you put it so that the cutting blade is up. And even though this is like dirty, it's got some cardstock film in it, which you can scrub out if you really want to. But that stuff kind of comes off of the blade side over here after you're done cutting. That's why it looks dirtier. But this is the side that you're going to lay your die into. It's going to grab into there, and you'll know it fits that way because the blade side is up. If the blade side was down, you'll know that, you know, that would be not good to put it over here because you have to put your cardstock between it. So you have to have your blade side up. Okay, so we lay it here. We're going to take our cardstock, and I want that window to be in my bottom right, which will work real well right here. I'm going to lay my cardstock right down on top of it like that. And then I'm going to fold this and kind of line up the cardstock so that the edge or the fold of my card goes right along with the crease. The crease of the cardstock goes right along with the edge of the embossing folder. All right, so we've got our die in there. We've got our embossing folder set up. It's going to cut and emboss at the same time. It's so cool. All right, here's our machine. Is it too big? No, this works. We need our gray plate or our specialty plate, which is number 4. We don't need the cutting mats, and we don't need number 2. That's for dies. So we're going to lay this in here this way. Ignore the rules about, oh, we need a cutting mat. We need a cutting mat. So, no, do we? Do we? Wait a minute, no. Is it just not? Oh, I know what it is. Okay, we don't need a cutting mat. So just the platform and just the gray plate. And we've layered it all together nice and snug, and we're going to crank it in. It felt loose because I didn't have the embossing folder in there yet. So, how is everyone today? It is really nice here. As far as weather goes, we had like unusually warm weather yesterday. Kind of crazy. All right, when I open this up, And there we go. So it cut it and it embossed it at the same time. Now you could, you know, let's say you're going to cut out all of these and have just holes in your card. You could use them somewhere else. Do not throw these away. We're going to use this one on the card, but every precious piece of this can be used in some way. Let's do one more bit of stamp and cut and emboss stuff here because I need to get our gnome done. Sorry, just tidying up. I'm putting my dies back in place here. These magnetic sheets are from Stamp and Storage, by the way. So are the little folders that I hold them in. Where did they go? This stuff here. So if you're looking for that kind of storage, you can go to my blog at stampyourartout.com and you can click on shop and then go to my favorite extras and you can see the Stamp and Storage stuff. There's like a bunch of it back here too. The Stamp and Storage stuff that I like to use. Okay, tidying. Now we can come back to our machine. We're going to bring back number 2, and that is our die, our die adapter plate. We need that. And then we need our cutting mats. I like to use one on the bottom all the time and the other one on top. This one gets scratchy. This one just gets imprinted. Mine are kind of on the newer stage, by the way. So don't worry if yours are getting like way worse than mine. I just changed mine out last week, I want to say. And there are ways that you can try to salvage them, but I have never tried them because I've heard that some people have success and some people don't. So if your bottom plate that's getting all scratchy and cut up starts to warp a lot, I've heard that you can boil it in water and try to flatten it out. I'm fine with buying another one. Okay, what do we need? We need our little gnome guy. I'm already losing things, you guys, and I've just started. Here's our gnome, and there's the cutting side of the die. We're going to put the cutting side down. You can tell which one's the cutting side because it has a little ridge to it. The other side is completely flat. And then we'll just line it up and put a little sticky note down there. And that will keep our die in place as we bring it through. Oops, got to have the top cutting plate. There we go. So, hi Joanne, how are you? How's South Dakota? Okay, we're cranking it through. And we'll remove the top plate. Grab all of this, carefully peel that away in case you have a really, really sticky note. And there's our cute gnome. So super fast if you do it with the designer paper versus stamping and coloring. That's ready to go. We need to stamp on this piece. So we'll put that over here and we'll move these out of the way. Yeah, I didn't list sticky notes this time, but that's always a good thing to have with your machine. We'll put it over here in the catch-all table. Okay, that's the table that kind of helps me to make sure I can see everything here. We're bringing in some colors now, okay? We're going to use Parakeet Party Soft Suede, and I chose Pale Papaya. I kind of experimented with some colors, just used one of the stamps in this set, the heart one here, and played around with colors that I thought really went well with the paper. And for this guy here, I thought he looked best with the Pale Papaya colored flowers. Let me zoom in a bit here. So we're going to use the Pale Papaya for the flowers. I did end up using, this is Pumpkin Pie. I used that on my first ever card, and then I was just like, that didn't, I mean, it went well with him, but it didn't go with a lot of the other gnomes. These are a couple other colors that coordinate with the papers that we pulled the gnomes from. So Coral, Calypso Coral, and Poppy Parade. So you could do your flowers in those colors too, but he just, I don't know, he worked well with the Pale Papaya. So we're using that. We'll do our greenery with the Parakeet Party just because it's a fun, bright green. And I'm so not ready to give up summer yet, even though it's like we've already gone through the leaf changes here. I mean, not totally. They're starting to fall off, I should say. This past weekend, I think, was peak season. So this is what we do for the gnome card. Super fun, super cute. I'm going to bring in the bone folder. And I'm going to crease it on this side just so that I put less pressure, less direct pressure on the embossed tree rings already. Now, I could have done the bone folder creasing before I embossed, but I've done that and it still kind of makes it so it's flattened out a bit here again, and you have to re-crease it. So I just waited till after. You also want to look to see if you have a little bit of both edges showing here. And now if you do, I do have just a tiny bit here. And if that's a lot, then you can trim it off. When your card has not already have a design on the front, you can flip it over instead. But if you see a lot of this bottom edge, just trim it off. Okay, so here we go. So this piece is going to go on the inside like this. And this little guy is going to go like this. Oops, put it in there correctly. And then when you open up the card, that is going to stay here. This is where I put the gnome, like that. I need to do some stamping though underneath that little section of wood, that slice of tree. I need to be able to tuck these guys a bit. So, and you could put it right next to, which is what I did on a couple cards. In fact, I might have done it on this one. But you can also tuck them in. And I want to show you how to do that because one of the other card designs, I tucked the image in, okay? Oh, thank you so much. Who was that? Lisa Marshall. Thanks for the reminder. Yes, if you can give me the thumbs up or share or like or whatever, that just helps me out. So helps with my ratings, gets more people to see my videos. I appreciate that reminder there. Thanks, Lisa. Okay, so we're going to take some of the floral images in here. We've got the branches and we're going to start with those. We've got the one that's going to go off to the side and one that's going to come out through the top. So I'm going to take a chance. Now, if you don't want to take a chance and you want to be able to flip this cardstock over a bit, you could just put one tiny little amount of tape on the back. But I'm going to go ahead and put that in each of the four corners. And you can put a lot or a little. I'm just going to trust that I'm not going to make any mistakes in my stamping. But again, you could just put a small amount of adhesive, which is what we're going to do on this one, just a tiny bit, because we want to be able to lift this back up. Oh gosh, come on out. Oh, now that's way more adhesive than I wanted, but that's okay. We'll still be able to peel it up. So you flatten this down, and then you put this in like a puzzle piece, and you pull it away, okay? Actually, I don't think that that's lined up very well, so I'm kind of glad that we have just a little bit of adhesive here. I'm going to redo that. See, we can do it. We can do it. Try that again, Rachel. You want an even amount all the way around. Oh, that looks better. Close it. You just needed a reminder of this anyways, right? And then stick that down. Okay, then the gnome is going to go here, but we're not going to put him there yet with adhesive until we've, permanently added these pieces down. Right now, we're just going to have this as a guide. We're going to open up our Parakeet Party ink. I'm going to zoom out just a tad because I feel like I keep getting out of the zone of the camera here. Okay, so we'll start with this one. We're going to ink up our leaf image, and we're going to lift this up after we've kind of put it where we want it to go. I want it to go right in that spot, so I'm going to lift this up and stamp it down. Okay, so now it's tucked a little bit more than my original one, you can see here. Okay, and we'll do the same thing with this top one. So we'll kind of put it in place here, and what I might do on this one is just shimmy this away and stamp it down. That was probably a better idea overall. Okay, so now let's stick this back through the hole. And you can already see through the hole. You can see the little tiny stems there. So we know it worked. We know we were able to do that. And there we go. So now we're going to stamp the rest of it. And if we like the whole thing, we don't have to replace it and we can put everything down permanently. So let's bring in our flowers next. This is our pale papaya color. And we need our flowers. And these are the flowers that coordinate with that image there. And if you just line up the inside circles of those flowers with these three spots, you're going to get it right. So as we come down, hover, 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 and stamp. And our flowers are spot on. Okay, we're going to close that one up. We're going to bring in our third color, which is our soft suede. And we're going to stamp all of our other images in that. We've got our sentiment piece. We've got our acorn. And I want to show you what I did. So this stamp here, this one is actually, and I'm going to outline it with a point here. All of this is, I got something on the end of there, sorry. All of this, these three are one image. But I took my snips, my scissors, and I cut because I was having a hard time doing multiples. I think we did 45 of these cards. Teresa helped me out with these. We did 45-ish of these cards plus my samples, so about 50 cards total. And it was getting hard to constantly avoid getting ink on the other two mushrooms or acorns or gumdrops or whatever you want to call these things. It depends on how you stamp them. So I just cut it, and we're going to take and stamp or ink it up. We're going to stamp it off. We'll just stamp it off right here. Say that's the darkest color. And then we're going to come over here. Oh, all that cardstock dust from my embossing folder. And we're going to stamp it like that. So now we have a lighter version of that early espresso color for the bottom portion of our acorn. For the top portion of the acorn, I'm going to use full color. So we just hover right next to it, stamp it down. And now we have a two-toned acorn. For our sentiment, I'm just going to use full color. Line it up. What I'm doing is I'm looking at the words of you, because if I look at those words, then I can see that they are parallel to the top and bottom of my card, and I know that they're going to look straight. So that's why I mount my stamps kind of crooked on my blocks. I don't want to rely on my block edges for my words, especially my words. Okay, we'll close that up. We're going to put everything down in a permanent fashion here. I think those are permanent enough. I added it on all four corners. Let's go ahead and slather this with a little bit more adhesive though. Close this up again. Stick it down. And then this guy's going to go on dimensionals. So we're going to grab a couple of these fun adhesive pieces here. Put one towards the top, middle, and lower. And you don't have to put that many on there. You could even just put 2 on here. In fact, I'm going to take this one off because I want to show you something. I'm going to take that one off, see if we can save it for another time. I'm just doing 2. I'm going to slip him in. Actually, you don't have to do that. You know he's going to show up there, so we don't even have to slip him in from the front. We're just going to put his feet down towards the bottom, center him. There we go. Isn't he cute? And the reason why I took that other one off is I thought, you know what? If I take that other one off, he can still close pretty flat in this portion of the card. Just kind of makes it so that there's not a ridge that forms over time there, right? And the only bump is showing through the window. So the bumps of the dimensionals are still on the top layer of the card in a sense, right? And he still pops up. See, his feet still come off that first layer, so he still comes out at you. The only other thing on this card that we need are some brushed brass butterflies. And I have a new pack here. I'm going to show you one of my favorite ways of opening my embellishments. I learned this idea from, I think it was Patsy Wagner, who has been a mentor to me in many ways throughout my Stampin' Up! Career. She's so awesome. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and use my Take Your Pick tool, kind of squish up the end here where it's all tacky, grab a butterfly, and I got to peek at my original here. I had one flying kind of around here, and I had a smaller one right about there. And then on the front, because the front is so kind of not so, right? We want something there. We're going to take another, put it there, and another one here, and it just kind of gives it a little bit more something on the front, because right now we just have texture in the gnomes, and might as well put some bling on there, something to fancy it up. So I'm going to shove this out of the way because I want to introduce you to my other finished samples. So here's the same one pretty much, right? So that's my card that I have for you on my blog. I photographed that one already. But let's bring in this little gal. So she's my other gnome gal that has the same colors, same everything on the inside. I just changed out the gnome. So there it is. So we've got sister and brother, or husband and wife, or whatever you want to call it. Here's another gal, but she had these beautiful reddish braids. And I thought, I have to change up the color of the flowers. So instead of the pale papaya, I brought in Poppy Parade. And I think it really brings out the color of her braids more, right? So there's another one. And then we've got, oh yeah, we got to keep these in here so we can see them all at the end. Then we've got another one. This is Grandma, because she's got grayish hair. Or you know what? With the trends in hair coloring nowadays, this could be a 16-year-old. Who knows? But she's got these beautiful gray braids. There's her. And then we've got the one that's kind of got the Santa colored hat on, the reddish hat. So I used all the Poppy Parade on these three here. So they're kind of grouped together in a photograph on my blog. And then these two are grouped together in a photograph on my blog because they have the different inside. Okay, so these are three. These are two more. I took that same Santa guy idea. Where is he? He's here now, right? I took that guy and I decided we needed to do like a Christmassy one. So same colors in cardstock, except for the inside is now shimmery white. So I used, instead of, and I'll show you a comparison here. Oh, I don't have, hang on, let me grab it. It's so nice I have my cardstock right here, right? I don't have to go far. So here's the difference between basic white and shimmery white. The shimmery white has a warmer tone to it. And if we compare that to Very Vanilla is definitely warmer. So you can see there's a difference between all of them. But the shimmery white has a shimmer to it. It actually, like if you, and again, we're going to have camera issues. By the way, last week, I think I over embossed the little speckles. I think I did. Yeah. I think that's why they were just that darker color. Anyways, it does work, but you just don't want to overheat. So there's my shimmery white that I used on the inside. So there's a little bit of a glitz when you turn it at an angle. And here's my Santa guy with the poinsettia flower, poinsettia, however you say it. For the colors of the flower, I think it's one of those potato words. You can say it either way. We've got, just like alopecia is like alopecia and alopecia. I've heard it said both ways. Poppy Parade, mint macaron. That's the color of these two images. And I got them again from the Ringed with Love. Here's that, and here's that. And to get the lighter flower or the lighter leaf there, I just stamped it once and then shifted it without re-inking and stamped again. The inside the flower is a goldish piece that sits up high. It's from, ta-da, the Flower Adhesive Back Trinkets, which come in the, and I haven't opened this one the same way. Let's just do that. So let me show you those. So those come in three colors. You've got kind of a warmer, redder toned gold. I believe that this is the champagne. This is brass. I hope so. Champagne, brass, and silver. I think that's what they're called in the catalog. Anyways, I used the yellower one for the inside because it paired well with the other embellishments that are on this card. I know, Christmas in October. Isn't that fun, Jane? So these fun little guys here, you just adhere with glue dots, and they are the gold holly leaves. They come in two different sizes. So you can see I've got a large and a small, and then I've got three of these, which I have used up a lot. I mean, you get a ton of them though. But these are the red rhinestone basic jewels, and they're just little berries on the inside there. So That's my Christmassy looking one. Then I did a wintry looking one. So I started to feel like, okay, we can dive in a little bit more into, oh, here it is, into winter now that I've done a Christmas card. And so I did this guy. And we changed up the cardstock colors again. So we have smoky slate, which is a nice pale gray. On the inside is the basic white again. You can see all these fun little pearls, which are kind of pretending like they're pieces of snow. Those are the iridescent pearls. And they're like my favorite pearl right now. I just adore them. They have kind of a sheen to them that's multi-tonal. And then I did this snowflake piece behind here, and I just stuck it through the middle, or adhered it in the middle. And that was using the wonderful snowflakes, which have kind of an iridescent sheen to them too. The blue, 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 blue all comes from one ink. One ink, the Pacific Point. In fact, here it is. Here's the sample. I stamped this last night so I could show you. So this is the darkest, stamped off once, twice, 3 times. So that's how I got those multi-colored blues. It was just from one ink. Amazing, right? And then can you see on the gumdrops, again, those were the acorn bottoms or the mushroom tops or whatever. The acorn, the gumdrops I stamped, and then I cut them out because there's coordinating dies with them. Are there coordinating dies? I don't know. They're easy to hand cut if there's not. Let me look. No, there's not. I hand cut those. I cut those out by hand. And then, super easy. And then I added, oh, let me show you this is the gray, by the way. And then I added this shimmery white embossing paste. So we used to have this stuff that was like a fine tip glue with some glitter in it. We don't have that anymore. I try to use current products, but yes, that would work. Or if you're really old school, like you've been around with Stampin' Up! For a long time, you can use your two-way glue pen and color the top and then sprinkle on the Dazzling Diamonds glitter. Oh my gosh, I miss that stuff. But instead I used this stuff, and I try to keep this as sealed as possible and airtight, so I only like expose a little bit. But all of that that's coming off on my fingers right now is glittery paste. I'm going to seal this back up. So you just take like a toothpick or even like and tighten it, by the way, and make it sure it's tight. You could use the end of this or whatever. In fact, I think I did use it, but I used the stylus one because there's another piece that goes with this when you get it. And then I just dabbed it onto the top of my little gumdrops, and that's how I got that. Super cute, super quick Christmas card if you're needing an idea for Christmas. Okay, last but not least is, and I gotta wipe this off my fingers. It's drying on my fingers. I'm gonna have embossing paste fingers. I changed it up a lot. So I brought in basic black, basic gray cardstock. Basic gray is on the inside. I brought in this fun washi tape, which obviously I'm loving because especially the black, I'm using it up. But this is the washi tape 4-pack. It coincides with Halloween products that are in our mini catalog, but you can use them in different combinations. You don't have to use them all together. You can use them just to glitz up something like green. You can use that all year long. Purple, you can use that, you know what I mean? When they're separate, they're not exactly Halloween-y. So I took these two colors here and I put them down. Let me grab a scrap here. Do I have a scrap? I might have thrown a scrap away. Okay, I'm just gonna, if I can get the end of it. Sometimes you have to use your fingernail to get it going. Okay, the end of it is here somewhere. Let's grab this orange one instead. There. Okay, so we got the end of it. And I'm gonna grab a scrap. We can even use just this scrap. It doesn't even matter what scrap you use because it's gonna cover up the scrap. So you just put a little piece down. It's terrible washi tape. Not terrible, like bad, but tearable, like you can tear it. And we're gonna do that, and then you can take the dies that go with the scary silhouettes. So this one can go right on top of that orange area. You run it through your machine and you get a fun little orange moon. You can do the same thing with your black washi tape and the bats, sorry. And then of course you got to die cut the house, because who doesn't love that house? So those are the Scary Silhouette dies that go with the Scary Cute stamp set. And here is the card I did with that. If you don't have this stamp set and dies, you'll need it now because Halloween is on its way. It's so cute. All right, so here we go. We got the bats. Those are our embellishments. So I created my own bats, again with the washi tape, stuck onto cardstock, and then die cut. We've got our witch with the black hair. I don't know, just the black hair just made me think Halloween. Doesn't mean that everybody with black hair is Halloween-y. Sorry. But she just looked more Halloween-y than the other gnomes for some reason. Probably the black hair. Open it up. And then we have, on the inside, we have the orange moon, the orange strip across the bottom, the black strip across the bottom, our haunted house stuck on there, some stamped bats from that stamp set, and then the sentiment, of course, on the top. Say boo and scary on. So fun! Oh my gosh, this was so much fun. I want to show you some comments from last week. Did we do those yet? So I haven't done this in several weeks, maybe months, but I do read comments. Sometimes I miss a video here and there. Life is busy or whatever, but I was able to go in and read comments from the past Facebook Live and the YouTube. And these are just ones that I pulled off of all of them. So the Afterlife comments on YouTube, those were actually pretty hard to read, so I might have to do those a different way. But like these are Afterlife comments in here. But you can glance through there, see if any of those comments are from you. The bottom ones there on the right, could you not use water and then heat from the underside of the cardstock? And this is referring back to when we were doing the splattering of the glue and putting embossing powder on there and heating it up. Yes, I'm sure you could, right? So as long as you have something wet that doesn't dry right away and holds the embossing powder, whether it's embossing ink, like some people are even mentioning the Versamark ink refill. You know, I would water it down a little bit though, because it's really thick. That's a really thick type of ink. But yeah, or even like a type of ink that's not water-based, like we used to call them craft inks. I think we still sell the white, right? We have the white craft. But anything that can stay sticky or wet for a while will hold embossing powder until you heat it, or until it dries, but you want to heat it soon. So yes, great idea. And then Patricia was asking about the coloring of the rhinestones. So I had to put this one up there because what I use to clean off the blends markers on a non-porous surface is alcohol wipes. So yes, Patricia, you could, if you colored your rhinestone the wrong color, technically you could come in with a little bit of rubbing alcohol on a wipe or whatever and just wipe off that surface, and you could reuse it for something else. But you want to be careful because that wetness from the alcohol wipe will seep under the rhinestone and maybe affect the stickiness of it. Maybe grabbing a Q-tip and just dabbing it on the top or something. And then there was another one. Hang on, I have to go in really close. Oh, that was the boiling water idea, I think. Let me see. Yeah. So anyways, thank you for those of you that were watching me last time, and to those of you that are watching this time. Make sure you comment, because the comments get you entered into a prize drawing, and it's always good to get in on a prize drawing, right? Even if you live outside the US. I'm going to lay these cards down here one more time just so you can take a peek at them. In fact, I think they're best on display if open, because that's where a majority of the imagery comes in. Hang on. You guys are like, well, show us. Hang on. Sorry. I will. There we go. I just want to make sure that, oh gosh, that's really zoomed in. Okay. There. How's that? There's all the insides. You could take a picture of this because I don't have a photo of all of them together like that on my blog post. But then you'll get my head in it. There's the fun cards we made. Aren't they lovely? Oh, the gnomes are so cute. Okay, for prizes last week, we did tutorials because last week was the first Wednesday of the month and I was doing my blog post along with my all-star group. And so we gave tutorials, or I gave tutorials as the prize. So last week's After Live winners on YouTube and Facebook have been drawn. We'll go over to the computer. And Shirley Eckenrode and from Facebook, excuse me, Sharon Stampka, you have won, each of you have won a tutorial of your choice. So you'll want to visit my blog at stampyourartout.com. Click on shop and then go down to tutorials, go over to tutorials, and you'll be able to choose any tutorial you want. Awesome, right? Okay, and where do you get to my blog? It's stampyourartout.com. Okay, and then we had some winners, or we're going to have some winners. So I'm going to pull up my YouTube screen so I can see it because Trisha is going to choose a couple winners off of the current live commenters. So yay for the current live commenters. She will do a little random drawing here and pull those names up. And for those winners, we are going to give out today some product that I'm going to mail to you. You're each going to get a sheet of dimensionals and a package of the brush brass butterflies because again, I cannot let go of summer. So I have 4 packs of them ready to go. If you live outside the US, tutorial is going to have to be it though because I can't mail product. But everybody can be a winner in some way if your name is drawn. So you'll get a sheet of dimensionals and you'll get brush brass butterflies to play around with. All right, let me scroll. I want to see if she drew the names yet. I don't think she has. Hopefully soon. Okay, it's funny because we have to time ourselves differently because when I see things happening on my screen over there, it's 30 seconds behind where I am right now as I'm talking. So then she has to do some kind of timing on her end too. It's really interesting how like when she comments, it doesn't come up right away. Do you guys notice that too when you comment? I don't know. All right. Yes, all prize winners, please reach out to me. Thank you, Lisa, for that reminder. I'll put my email up there one more time. But I am not seeing Trisha's comment. Was she gone this week too? I hope not. Oh my goodness sakes. Maybe she was. No, there it is. Okay, there's Trisha. Yay, thanks Trisha. So Charlotte Schuster and Jenny Van Westrop, you are the winners for the live commenters. And again, reach out to me at my email address that you see there on the screen. So fun. If you are interested in any of the products that I used for the cards today, you can again go to the description of the video, scroll down, you'll be able to see the items listed there. They should take you right to the online store. Otherwise, you can go to my blog at stampyourartout.com and click on shop to access those products. Wasn't this fun? Oh my goodness sakes. Trying to think if there's anything else to share. I did have my biopsy last week, which is where they take a little section of your scalp area. You know, it's kind of gross, sorry. But yay, Jenny. Oh, I won. I love your comment. So yeah, today I go and I get the stitches out. So yay for me. So anyways, and it's confirmed. I kind of knew it. I do have the alopecia and I've had it probably my whole life and it just like gets brought on by stressors or changes in hormones. Yeah, and I'm sure menopause kicked it into high gear. TMI. Okay, you guys, thanks everyone for joining me today. I share this stuff because I share it at other times and I want my viewers who watch it regularly to kind of know where I'm at and I'm okay, I'm doing fine. So we are in a good spot. And anyways, take care everyone. We will be live again next week on what date would that be? October 19th. So if this is your first time joining me live, please make it a point to joining me every Wednesday at 11 a.m. Central Time. Just do the conversion for whichever time zone you're in. We'd love to have you on as a regular with us. It's fun. We get to know each other. You guys are so fun because it's fun to read your comments. You're all chiming in as if you're like best buddies sometimes. It's awesome. Take care, everyone. And now I'd like you all, oh, and thank you. Big thank you to Lisa and Trisha. Now I'd like you all to go and stamp your art out. Bye-bye, everyone.